Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. Okay. I mentioned in my reading last night about where were the Trump spawn and how are they dealing with their dad's current situation. Some of the first comments were, what about Tiffany and Barron? Tiffany, Ivanka Jr. and Eric. Ivanka was obviously in as a senior advisor in the White House. And Junior and Eric have gone on Fox News and places like that, full-throatedly advocating for their father, Ivanka as well. I typically don't read on Tiffany because it seems like she's like the forgotten kid in there. Marla Maples raised her, and I would say probably of the five, she's going to be the most normal. However we define normal for that family, or certainly the most well-adjusted. I'd have to go back. I don't remember if Mary Trump had anything about Tiffany in her book. If she didn't, that speaks volumes because it just means that either she doesn't know Tiffany or Tiffany was unremarkable enough to not warrant an entire chapter or something like that. I don't like reading on Barron. He was under 18 for much of Trump's presidency, and he hasn't really stepped out to become much of a public figure, so I tend to give him a pass. That being said, he did lean over and say something to Biden. I can't remember if it was caught on audio or people reading lips, but it was something to the tune of, "You'll pay for this." It was a kind of a threat, and Joe Biden looked kind of shocked by the statement. So I've always had this, what's the word I'm looking for? I've avoided trying to read on him because it's almost like I've wanted to just pretend that he's not going to follow in Trump's footsteps, that he's not going to be a horrible person. But a feeling of dread. But I have a feeling of dread about him. He hasn't done anything yet that's really reportable. There were some reports that he abused animals or he was a bully in school or something along those lines. So there is a chance that this kid is a sociopath, almost serial killer-like, entertainment purpose only. But there's no stories out there to really back that up. I imagine if you ran in the social circles that the Trumps ran in, you would know all sorts of stuff. But I don't have that information. That being said, I probably will. I'll read on Tiffany anyways. I tend to give her a pass. I don't expect to find much. I'm going to read on Barron too, because on this case, it's about their biological father and his ordeals going through right now, and kind of where do they stand on that. So this will be that part 2. I'll include Melania in on this one because why wouldn't I? But probably not Marla Maples. Okay, entertainment purposes only. Where is Tiffany Trump on her biological father, Donald Trump? King of Swords. It's just that strong, actionable energy crossed with a celebration. And the Two of Cups. She just might... Tiffany's married to an executive. I believe family is from Lebanon. A Lebanese-American business executive. So we've got this strong energy here about truth and, the harsh realities crossed with the Three of Cups, that sort of party girl scene or celebratory scene with the Two of Cups agreements underneath there. Let's see where we go with this. In the past, the Ten of Coins, you got intergenerational wealth. I'm going to assume this is the Trump family wealth. Current situation is the Emperor. I think she just sees Donald Trump as an old man that's in charge, maybe deteriorating. Yeah, she definitely sees his health deteriorating, going down. And I think she sees the chaos that's going to come as a result of that. Not so much for the country, but within her family. I think she sees the chaos that's going to come as he passes. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Outcome is the 7 of coins. I mean, she's married. I believe there is some money in her on her husband's side of the family, but she's wondering, is she getting anything in the will? Excuse me. Sorry. A bunch of congestion in my throat. Not making for good YouTube audio there. It's like she's concerned about her place in the will. You know, am I going to get any payout in this one? That King of Swords is kind of like the harsh reality that she's not the favored child. She's not Ivanka. And she's always been treated differently than that. I think right now all she's concerned about, she's living her own life. And she's wondering if there's any money in the will for her when he goes. And that there's going to be a lot of fighting amongst her cousins and half-brothers and half-sisters with regards to inheritance and such. I think she feels like she's going to be the odd person out here. How about Marla Maples? We'll look at her real quick. Just a 4-carder, though. Marla Maples on Donald Trump's current situation. Judgment. Here we go. Magician. Page of Pentacles. 3 of Coins. And the Lover's card. I don't know what her relationship is with Trump. She was young when she met him, enamored with the money, but yeah, I mean, there could be, these are not bad cards, you know. Judgment and the Lover's card, that youth, Magician, and the 3 of Coins. I think maybe in her heart she still cares for him. She wants him to do well, but she's hearing about his health. She knows that he's neglected his health, and this is kind of brought on himself. It'll probably be his demise. But there's like this underlying thing. There's no joy in this. It's just sort of had you stayed with me and treated me right, I would have made sure that you lived a healthy life and you would have been fine. It's not. I could be way off base with that one. Maybe she hates his guts. I don't know. But I think there's a bit more empathy in her towards him in watching him decline. You know, she was with him in his prime, if you will. And for those that are gagging right now as I say that, understand that, you know, he was in his physical prime, his mental prime, however high that may be, riding high on life. So she got to see him at his best, and she's watching him deteriorate. But his deterioration is all self-inflicted. Okay. Melania. Where's Melania on Donald right now? Where is she at all? Empress. She's living her best life. Crossed with the 7 of Swords. In relationship cards, this is my infidelity card. She's still stuck to Trump, but I think she's seeing, she can go off and do whatever she wants to do whenever she wants to do it. She's stuck contractually with him, but I think we're near the end of that contract. She can set herself free anytime. Yeah, she willingly chained herself to Trump, and she's stayed hostage to that role by choice. These cards are both by choices. She could have released herself anytime. She could have unchained herself anytime. She's now going to enjoy the spoils of being in a relationship with this guy. Current situation is the Wheel of Fortune. Emphasis on fortune. She is going to get her fortune from this guy. She just has to wait a little bit longer. She doesn't even have to poison his tea. He's doing it all himself. She knows he's at the end here. And she's just fulfilling her contract. This, my friends, this is all about the money. And that Empress, there's just a touch. You know that little smile that she gives? She's having that little smile as she watches him deteriorate. And it's not that she wishes ill on him, it's that he's made her life difficult and she's kind of revolted by him. And watching him, make other people suffer and not her, and watching him suffer the consequence of his choices, just sort of like just a little smile. Not even one of those fake smiles. It's kind of like one of those little smiles of, we're almost here. She can see the end of the ride is here. The roller coaster has slowed down, and you see the red arrow coming up, which means you can get out of your roller coaster seat and exit the ride. She knows she's near the end of the ride. Okay. Barron. What is Barron's current relationship like with his father? What's this kid doing? The Hermit. Finding out, but also leading. Cross with the Page of Swords. That youth. It's almost like a learning from this person and the mistakes that they've made, and then going forward with a plan. In the past, the Four of Wands. I would say that Barron, of all the kids, Trump spent, maybe quote unquote, spent the most time with Barron, or Barron was around the most. You would think it would be the older kids, and maybe it is. I could be wrong on this one. But he's been welcomed into the family from Trump's point of view. Or he looks at Trump as family. Now, obviously there was stuff that was out there about Melania taught Barron Slovenian, and he speaks Slovenian with his mom and his grandparents. And I guess when they don't want Donald to know what they're talking about, they just switch from English to Slovenian, and it pisses Donald off because he doesn't know what they're saying. But there's this opportunity. Donald opened up opportunities for Barron. Barron's going to take those opportunities, move forward with them. Overarching energy. Barron has never been thrown under the bus by his father. He sees Donald Trump differently than others. He's watching the tower moment, watching Trump and Trump Tower come down. I'm pausing because I'm rethinking the question here, but we'll go with it. The outcome is going to be the Empress. His mom's going to be set. He's much more aligned with his mother than his father. There's kind of a coldness here. I don't think he's intellectually very sharp either. I mean, maybe he is, but this is a youthful type of intelligence. But there's kind of a coldness here with the Hermit card. It's kind of like just impassively watching things progress with his dad being hung out to dry and then collapsing with his mother. There's not a lot of emotion or passion here. There's an analytical type of feel to it, or at least a lack of emotional feel to it. What does Barron feel about Donald Trump for Carter, and then Trump on Barron? What does Barron feel about Trump? He's a winner. Just winning and losing. That's what he's learned from this guy. Take action. Stirring stuff up. And then waiting to see what happens. Keeping secrets. He views his dad as a winner, not a loser, but a winner. His dad knows things. It's about, if you want to win, you have to have secrets. You need to know when to rock the boat. You need to know when to take decisive action, and you need to know when to step back. Barron may never abuse himself with narcotics or anything along those lines. That could be what this is. Or it could just be that he takes a more measured approach when dealing with things. Again, I was talking about that lack of emotion. Those cups could stand for emotions as well. And it's where his father is full-throated, passionate about things. Barron seems a bit colder and more private. He's like his mother in that regard. Very much like his mother. What about Donald? What does Donald think of Barron? What does Donald think of Barron? The World card. Get the 9 of Cups. The 8 of Cups. There's that High Priestess again. And the 10 of Wands. What does he think about Barron? It's like Barron's not from his world. Barron is emotionally detached from Trump. Trump can't manipulate Barron. He finds Barron difficult because Trump can eat away at people's souls, but he can't do it on Barron. He's used to being in control of things. But Barron's kind of like his mom. He's got those secrets. Trump hasn't been able to crack the code on Barron Trump. Barron Trump keeps himself very emotionally distant. And Trump doesn't know what Barron's thinking. And he always knows what Barron's thinking. It makes it difficult on him. Barron is an enigma to Donald Trump. He's just like his mother. Barron is just like his mother. And his mother is a narcissist. She is every bit as bad as Donald Trump. She just keeps her mouth shut. Trump is a malignant narcissist. He blasts it out there, trumpets it out there for everybody to see. Melania, she wants to keep it all to herself. Donald Trump is going to be the one who tells you he's going to pour the poison in your cup and look at you and demand that you drink it. Melania is going to sneak it in there and then just have that little smile on her face as you take your sips from your poison tea. How is Barron going to view the world after his father passes? How is he going to view himself, the world, his father's legacy? How is this going to shape Barron Trump? Nine of Wands. Kind of, there's a feeling of action. What do I do next? Crossed with the Hanged Man. We had that with his father, watching his father get sacrificed. He doesn't. I don't think Barron has to worry about being sacrificed. Donald can't figure him out. It's like he's wondering what he's going to do after his father's gone. He's wondering what he's going to do next. Heartbreak and betrayal. If he feels like people went after his father unnecessarily, vindictively, he'll have no F's to give, and he'll be willing to return the favor. In the past, the Knight of Swords, he's not a hard-charging kid, but there's going to be a crusade. It's probably an internal crusade right now. He wants to be a winner. He is absolutely going to win. He's, play to win with no concern about the damage that comes out of this. He's got his mom's secrecy. He'll have the money. He's going to have the family wealth. He's going to be just like his dad. Qualifier. Eight of Swords. Hostage no more. This is karma. He'll do it his own way. I will be curious with that Hanged Man. Is he... Okay, how do I want to phrase this? Donald Trump could have been an absolute agent for change. Well, he was. Donald Trump was a transformational character. He was a chaos agent, an agent for change. Was it going to be change for the betterment of society, or was it high energy, or was it going to be low energy, selfish, individual change for his own benefit? We know which path he chose. He chose the low energy, selfish path. Barron Trump looks like he's learned the lessons from his father, but he's going to do it with the guile of his mother. This could be incredibly good. This could be incredibly bad. Spiritual lesson for Barron Trump from all this. I don't know which path he's going to take. I fear, and fear is not a good place to come out of, but I fear that he's going to go down the lower path of intention. I will be quite pleased if he doesn't. Spiritual lesson for Barron Trump. All this is happening during his formative years. Seven of Swords. Crap. What can you get away with? Life is about what you can get away with. Chaining yourself to the devil. You can let go anytime. Eight of Cups, the emotional walking away. Page of Swords, that youth. He's in his... The lessons he learns now is what's going to drive him going forward. Two of Cups. The agreements and cheating on agreements. What can you get away with when you've agreed to something with someone? How far can you push before they leave? How can you keep them in the agreement as long as possible while you don't honor your end of it? Well, that's certainly lessons he learned from his dad. I'm not hopeful. I'm sorry. I don't like reading on him. I think this is why. I don't want to know that now. I just don't want to know that. Can't I just live in bliss? And I don't want to go out there and trash on this young man when he hasn't done anything to me. He hasn't done anything to the U.S. population. I'm sure, again, that there are folks in his social sphere that could share stories, and the stories that I did hear shared, I don't. There's no way to know if they're truthful or not. But if they were true, they don't paint this guy in a very, very positive light. He could be, the second coming of Donald Trump, and he could take the reins and do it from a very high energy and really transform things. But I just don't feel like that's the path he's on. He would need a lot of work to overcome his parents' narcissistic tendencies. And I haven't seen any indication that he's done anything like that. He just remains very private, but if he comes out, then we'll find out for sure. But I fear, I loathe the idea that he's probably going to follow his father's footsteps. Sorry, I'd love to tell you something different. Anyways, we'll leave it here. Thank you very much for watching this video and supporting my channel. I appreciate it. This reading is for entertainment purposes only, but I hope you found it insightful. And I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.